Just finished voting. Did the early voting in person. But I wanted to talk about a couple things that some recent education has helped me with. I was standing in line, and it was about an hour and a half of standing in line, and I charged up my phone and I got my battery bank ready, and I was envisioning that I was just going to be sitting there playing on my phone, looking up stuff, researching stuff, things like that. So a couple of the things that have helped me greatly with my time spent in this line for an hour and a half, of which I did not get up my phone once, I was talking to people, and I was making connections, and I was having small talk. If you know me at all, I hate small talk, and I think a lot of people that like to think deeply don't really prefer small talk. So I was able to have some really awesome conversations. The thing is I was having conversations with people that most likely, at least from the vast majority of what we were saying, I'm pretty sure we did not agree on the same things politically, and that's okay. I try to stress this to a lot of people, whenever it comes up, is that you need both sides, and it's the extremes that really cause chaos, and our political spectrum has shifted quite a bit, and that's not really the point of my conversation. However, I have read a book recently, well, for the fourth time, I think, third or fourth time, Verbal Judo, and this book really helps understand the other side of the fence, like, not the other side of the fence politically, I'm saying the other person that you're talking to. It's really easy for us to get hung up in what we expect people to think and what we expect people to say because it's what we would say. And it's really important to understand that not everybody thinks like you. In fact, you're very unique. All of us are very unique, and we all have our very unique perspectives. What's important is when you're voting and doing something like this, I think it's really important that you do your research and you understand what you're voting for, because it's important. And a lot of people are going to the polls to vote for the president, and I understand that, and I appreciate that for sure, because it's important. But what else are you checking the box for? And do you understand, these propositions and these people that are getting elected to our Supreme Court and things like that? Because your local politics play a bigger role in your life than the president ever will. And I think it's really important that you understand a lot of that. So research what you're voting for, and do your due diligence, be a good citizen, and make sure that you're making an educated decision. On to the next point of this is I kind of got a little sidetracked. Surprise. Back to the Verbal Judo and my abilities to have these conversations and have this small talk with these ladies. It was the big underlying theme of having good conversations with people that you don't agree with, or even in situations where it could be with your spouse or your kid or whatever. Obviously you like them as people, but you might not always agree on things. And to understand that empathy plays the biggest role when it comes to communicating with other people and understanding where they're coming from if you were in their exact same position. And that's hard because their exact position might be slightly unknown to you because you're not them. So it's really important to recognize that you're not going to think the same, and to try to remove your own bias and actually listen to what they're saying. Listen, as in, don't interrupt. This is something that I've had to work on a lot. Don't interrupt, and try not to be thinking about what you're about to say while they're in the middle of completing their sentence. If you can let them completely let out their ideas, their thoughts, their words, then you really understand what they're saying. It also helps to paraphrase back what they said to you to make sure that you understand what they just said. If they say that the sky is blue, the clouds are white, this pen is red, and my car is black. Sorry, I just thought of the most simplest way to say that. You can say it back to them that, the sky is blue, the clouds are white, and the pen is blue, and your car is red. No, that's not quite what I said. okay, so then you get to go through it again and actually understand what the other side said. So my point is that paraphrase back can help you understand and to conceptualize what they're actually saying. So just something to consider when you're having conversations. I can't tell you how valuable that is when it comes to having conversations with your spouse or your kid, to make sure that you're completely understanding what they're saying. Something else that was kind of interesting to me, and I thought about this in a couple different ways, was one of the ladies I was talking to had blue hair. She had like a bright blue streak in her hair, and she exclaimed that was because she was promoting her ideology, her side of the political spectrum. And that's fine. There's all kinds of people that promote ideologies and their thoughts and all kinds of things. So you just have to understand what you're saying out loud. It's just like iconography and paying attention to, the logos on your shirt and how that tells people about you, bumper stickers and signs in your yard and all of those things. You're giving people information about you. And again, it's not always a bad thing, but just know what you're doing. Because I didn't even think about it, but I wore a blue shirt today. It has nothing to do with the way I'm voting or anything. I just like the shirt, and it was comfortable, long sleeve, but it was light enough to wear outside on a back and forth day here in good old Missouri. So I didn't think about it that way, but I don't know, maybe I should have. Not really. I don't, you can go down the rabbit hole on that and, I don't know, be all kinds of paranoid if you want to. I think it's unnecessary, but it's just important to recognize what you're promoting, and to also, on the other side of that, pay attention to what other people promote, because that could tell you something. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a great thing, but maybe it's a way to have conversation. We had conversation about her having blue hair. That was not small talk. It led to an in-depth conversation about her views and her beliefs on things. People love talking about their views and their beliefs in a lot of cases, and why not have the conversation? So pay attention to what you promote. Pay attention to what other people promote. Test your skills on having a good conversation with people, and use that iconography, those icons. It's a logo, it's a streak in their hair, or it's a I voted sticker. Hey, I saw that you voted today. Where did you vote at? Okay, how long was the line there? I got through mine in about an hour and a half. Aren't you glad that you were getting that out of the way before election day? Yeah, because it's going to be packed. And then you can just go down the rabbit hole and ask questions and have conversations with people and get to know people. And it's awesome. One of the other things is throughout this hour and a half of me standing with these two ladies, one of them was staunchly liberal. The lady with the blue hair, she was very verbal with her thoughts and who she was voting for, and that's fine. The other lady she was a little more quiet about it, but still it was very, I wouldn't say very obvious, but I think it was obvious to me some of the things that she talked about and the way she talked about it, what side of the fence she was on. And I focused my attention more on, for one, listening to what they were saying, and because it's so interesting to me that they say, and if you don't know this, I'm conservative, but they say a lot of the same things that the conservatives say. Well, the media says this, and you got to be careful about the media promoting lies, and this person says that, and it all goes back to the media and how people promote these things, and how it makes other people emotional, and this is right and this is wrong. But a lot of the same things come out. If we just focused on the aspect that it's hard to be a part of society and not hear certain things to promote a certain thing, you couldn't tell what side of the fence they are on. It's just, we say the same things, but we say it for a different reason. So I found that not surprising, but interesting. And but at the end of the day, I tried to focus more on small government versus big government, regulatory agencies, and I prefer dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery. And that's a fantastic quote. Thomas Jefferson said it, and I can't agree more. But when you start, what I was trying to do was articulate that in not a way that promoted conflict. Like, I didn't want to turn them off to what I was saying. So I never once said I was conservative. I never once said that I was voting for Trump. I never once said I was, against whatever amendment or this or that. It didn't matter. It was just talking about the objective things to get their brain and their gears turning that, okay, I guess it's not all that great that the government wants to control these things, because emotions run so much of our thoughts when it comes to, like, this is right or this is wrong. And I get it, emotions are high for a lot of these things, but when you bring it back to the objective details of if you want more control, you want more regulation over the general population, it's a staunch realization that you're trusting other humans to make these choices. And what we really need to get back to is not allowing our government and the humans in our government to make these choices for our society, but to respect individual rights so we can make our own decisions, and then collectively be a society. So absolute power corrupts, absolutely. And we really have to keep that in mind, because when emotions are high and you want to have regulations that control certain things to keep feelings from getting hurt, then you're restricting the rights of yourself and other people. So I get both sides in a variety of ways, but it's important that we can stay open-minded, have these conversations, so that way we can make good decisions for our country, be good patriots, and respect the values of our forefathers and our Constitution. Oh man, there was one other thing that I wanted to say, and I'm trying to remember it now. Oh, the lady that had blue hair, she said that she said that if it doesn't go her way, the election doesn't go her way, she's going to leave the country and move out of the country. And and some people are like, good, get out of here, but that's not the point. I said to her, and a leader in my life has said this to me, and it makes so much sense, because while our justice system and our government is fallible, it's still the best out there. And if you give up on our country and you give up on what we stand for, then we fall. United we conquer, divided we fall. So the more that we're at each other's throats, it's not good. It's not good for us. So when you go out and you stand in your election line, think about having good conversations. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're promoting your ideology. Just talk to people like they're humans. And I really wish it would have come out at the end. I almost brought it up, but I didn't want to bring light to the fact of, possibilities. But I wanted to say, like, we've had all these conversations today, and we've been smiling and laughing together and having a great time. Would you have guessed that I'm conservative?